He didn't lose his life in an accident. He didn't lose it in a fight. He lost it in a quiet moment, when someone knocked on his door and said the words he feared most, "Open up. We need to talk." The strange part is, the beginning wasn't dark. It began with a dream that looked innocent, a man who wanted to stop struggling. His name was Caleb Rains. Not famous, not born rich, just smart, hungry, and tired of watching life pass him by. And one day, Caleb took a shortcut. It didn't feel like a crime. It felt like a solution. But easy money has a hidden rule. It always collects interest. And it always comes back to the person who believed it was just one time. Caleb lived in a crowded city where lights stayed on all night and rent rose like a threat. He worked as a junior analyst at a small finance services firm. Numbers, clients, reports, deadlines. He wasn't lazy. He wasn't reckless. He was the kind of man who stayed late, not because he loved the job, but because he believed effort should mean progress. But effort didn't always mean progress. Caleb's mother had health bills that never ended. His younger sister had school fees due every term. And Caleb carried the quiet shame of being the smart one who still couldn't get ahead. Every morning he looked in the mirror and told himself, "Just hold on. One promotion and everything changes." Then he'd walk into an office where promotions moved slowly and pressure moved fast. That's how the trap begins. Not with greed, with exhaustion. One Friday evening, Caleb went to a networking event. He didn't want to go, but his manager said, "You need visibility." The event was full of smiles, perfume, and expensive watches. People spoke like winners even when they weren't. Caleb stood near a table, pretending to be confident. That's when Damon Cross approached him. Damon was older, mid-30s, sharp suit, calm voice. He had the posture of someone used to being listened to. "Caleb, right?" Damon said, like he already knew. Caleb nodded, surprised. Damon smiled. "I've seen your reports. Clean work." Caleb felt something warm inside. Recognition. Respect. Damon leaned in slightly. "You're wasting your brain," he said quietly. "This place moves too slow." Caleb forced a laugh. "That's corporate life." Damon's eyes stayed steady. "No," he said. "That's the life they give to people who accept it." Then Damon offered him a card. Not flashy. Just a name and a number. "If you ever want faster growth," Damon said, "call me." Caleb stared at the card on his way home. It wasn't an offer. Not yet. It was a door. Caleb didn't call for a week. He tried to forget it. Then the bills came, again. His mother needed a procedure. His bank balance looked like a joke. One night, Caleb sat in the dark with his laptop open, staring at numbers that didn't add up. His phone buzzed. Unknown number. He answered. "Caleb," the voice said calmly. "Damon." Caleb's throat tightened. "How did you?" "I pay attention," Damon said. "Listen. I'm not here to pressure you. I just have a small opportunity." Caleb didn't speak. Damon continued, smooth as water. "I'm building a private deal pipeline. It's legal. It's clean. I just need someone with your skills to review a few documents, help me spot errors, and confirm the numbers make sense." Caleb hesitated. "Why me?" "Because you're careful," Damon replied. "And because you need a way forward." There was silence. Then Damon said the sentence that sounds harmless in the moment. It's just a side task. "You're not doing anything wrong." Caleb swallowed. "How much?" he asked. Damon answered like he'd been waiting. $2,000 for the first review. $2,000. Caleb's rent was overdue. His mother's medication was running out. He told himself it was harmless. He told himself, it's only paperwork. So he agreed. That was the first shortcut. Not money, but permission. Damon sent documents through encrypted email. Investment summaries. Purchase projections. Client notes. Caleb reviewed them at night, sending back corrections. It wasn't illegal work on the surface. It looked like consulting. Then Damon paid him, fast. The money hit Caleb's account like a miracle. Caleb paid the rent, bought the medication, sent money to his sister. For the first time in months, he slept without fear. And that's how easy money trains the mind. It doesn't feel like greed. It feels like relief. Damon called again. You did good, he said. Ready for another? Caleb said yes without thinking. Weeks passed. Payments increased. 2,000 became 5. 5 became 10. Just enough to feel like he belonged in the city that had always treated him like an outsider. Then Damon shifted the request. Caleb, he said one night, I need a quicker turnaround. And I need you to access a market report from your firm. The public version is delayed. Caleb froze. That's internal. Damon's voice stayed calm. I'm not asking you to steal, he said. It's information. Everyone gets it eventually. I just need it earlier. Caleb's heart beat harder. Damon added softly, You're not hurting anyone. You're just not staying behind. Caleb stared at his laptop. This was different. This wasn't consulting. This was crossing a line. And lines are easiest to cross when you already have one foot on the other side. Caleb didn't answer immediately. He tried to be good. But then his mother called. Her voice was weak. She tried to sound strong. Don't worry about me, she said. I'll manage. Caleb closed his eyes. He imagined his mother in pain, his sister dropping out of school, his family returning to survival mode. And in that moment, Caleb didn't feel like a thief. He felt like a provider. So he did it. He accessed the internal report at work, downloaded it, and sent Damon the key numbers. He told himself it was just data. No one would know. No one would be harmed. Damon paid him $5,000 for that one message. Caleb stared at the transfer. $5,000 for a few lines of data. That's when the addiction changed shape. It stopped being relief. It became power. Caleb began waking up with a strange confidence. He started speaking in meetings with more boldness. He stopped feeling invisible. But confidence built on secrets is fragile. It shatters the moment someone touches it. One Monday, Caleb walked into the office and felt something different. The air was heavier. People spoke in low voices. His manager called an emergency meeting. There's been a data leak, the manager said. Caleb's stomach dropped. The manager continued. Someone accessed restricted reports and shared information externally. IT has flagged unusual login patterns. Caleb felt his hands go cold. Unusual login patterns. That sounded like him. The manager looked around the room. This is serious, he said. Corporate is involved. HR is involved. If you have anything to disclose, do it now. No one spoke. Caleb's mouth was dry. He didn't confess. He told himself he'd stop. He told himself he'd cut Damon off and walk away. That night he called Damon. I can't do this anymore, Caleb said. They're investigating. Damon didn't sound surprised. He sounded bored. Caleb, Damon said calmly, investigations happen all the time. They'll find nothing if you stay steady. Caleb's voice shook. You don't understand, Damon interrupted gently. I understand perfectly, he said. You're scared. That's normal. But fear is expensive. Don't buy it. Caleb swallowed. Damon's voice lowered. If you quit now, you lose everything you built. And you still have the same problems. Caleb hated how true that felt. Then Damon offered the most dangerous sentence of all. Let me handle the risk. You just keep moving. Caleb didn't realize it, but Damon wasn't offering help. He was tightening the chain. The next day, IT security emailed Caleb, please confirm these access times for audit purposes. Caleb stared at the timestamps. They matched the nights he downloaded reports. He could confess. He could resign. He could tell the truth before the truth crushed him. Instead, Caleb did what many frightened people do. He tried to control the story. He replied, those access times appear to be system errors. I was working on a client file. Please check again. It was a lie. A small lie. But lies in an investigation are like adding fuel to a fire. You don't put out flames with gasoline. You just delay the burn. Caleb's manager called him in. Caleb, the manager said, do you know anything about this? Caleb forced calm. No, he said. Not at all. The manager stuttered him. All right, he said. Just know, if this becomes a legal issue, your cooperation matters. Cooperation matters. Caleb nodded. then left the office feeling like the walls were closing. That night, Damon called again. "Good," Damon said, as if he knew. Caleb felt sick. "How do you know what's happening?" Damon chuckled softly. "I told you," he said. "I pay attention." Then Damon gave him a new task. "Caleb," he said, "I need you to approve a payment request. It's routine." Caleb froze. "Approve a payment request? That's not routine," Caleb said. "That's fraud." Damon's voice stayed calm. "Words," Damon said. "Don't dramatize. It's just a bridge. Temporary. You sign, the funds move, then we settle. You'll be protected." Caleb whispered, "I can't." Damon paused. Then he said something that sounded like kindness but wasn't. "Caleb, you already crossed the river. Don't pretend you're still on the shore." Caleb didn't sleep. He walked to the kitchen, drank water, stared at the sink. His phone buzzed again. Damon texted an address. "Meet me tomorrow," it said. "We'll talk." Caleb went. It was a quiet restaurant with dim light and polite silence. Damon sat in a corner booth. He didn't look nervous. He looked in control. Damon smiled. "You look tired." Caleb's voice shook. "I'm done." Damon nodded slowly, like a teacher listening to a child. "Of course you feel that way," Damon said. "The first time you face consequences, you want to run." Caleb leaned forward. "You used me." Damon's smile faded slightly. "Caleb," Damon said softly, "no one forced you. You wanted the results. I gave you the path." Caleb's jaw tightened. Damon continued, voice calm and dangerous. "Do you know what happens if your firm finds out you leaked internal reports?" Caleb's stomach turned. Damon leaned in. "You lose your job, your license, your future, maybe more." Caleb stared at him. Damon sat back. "So here is your choice," Damon said. "You help me with one last step, then you walk away clean." Caleb whispered, "And if I refuse?" Damon's eyes were empty. "Then I protect myself," he said. "And you take the full blame." That's when Caleb understood. The shortcut wasn't a road. It was a cage. And the door was closing. Caleb signed. Not because he believed Damon. Because he feared losing everything. He signed a payment approval that moved money between accounts under false labels. He told himself it was temporary. The moment he clicked submit, his stomach dropped. He felt like he'd swallowed a stone. Damon paid him $10,000. Caleb didn't feel relief this time. He felt dirty. And the universe has a cruel sense of timing. Because the very next day, Caleb was called into a conference room. HR, IT security, and a man in a dark suit who didn't introduce himself. The man slid a folder across the table. "Caleb Rains," he said. "We have evidence of unauthorized access and data transmission." Caleb's breath became shallow. The man opened the folder. Screenshots, logs, IP traces. Not everything, but enough. HR spoke softly. "Caleb, is there anything you want to tell us?" Caleb stared at the table. In his mind, Damon's voice echoed. "If you refuse, you take the full blame." Caleb looked up. "I didn't do it alone," he whispered. The man in the suit leaned forward. "Name the other party," he said. Caleb hesitated. If he named Damon, Damon might destroy him. If he didn't, the firm would. Caleb opened his mouth and told the truth. Within hours, corporate security contacted authorities. Caleb's phone was taken. His laptop was seized. He expected Damon to call. Damon didn't. Caleb expected Damon to panic. Damon vanished. No replies. No messages. No contact. Days later, Caleb learned something worse. The number Damon used was unregistered. The email was disposable. The identity was layered. Damon wasn't a man. He was a system. And Caleb had been one piece of it. Caleb sat in a small room during questioning, hands shaking. The investigator's voice was flat. "You think you're the first smart person to fall for this?" he asked. "Easy money doesn't need intelligence. It needs impatience." Caleb felt tears burn, not from sadness, but from humiliation. He had wanted a shortcut. Now he couldn't even find the road back. Caleb's mother called. "Why are people asking questions?" she whispered. What's happening? Caleb couldn't lie anymore. He told her. Silence. Then his mother said the sentence that broke him. I raised you to be strong, she whispered, not to be fast. Caleb closed his eyes. His sister stopped answering his calls. Not because she hated him, because shame spreads like smoke. Friends disappeared. Co-workers avoided his name. Caleb's life narrowed. The city that once felt full of opportunity now felt like a courtroom. And Caleb realized something terrifying. He didn't just lose money. He lost trust. And trust is the one currency that doesn't come back quickly. Caleb was required to attend a financial ethics rehabilitation program as part of a settlement agreement. He didn't want to go. He went anyway. In the program, there was a facilitator named Mr. Sato, an older man with calm eyes and a voice that never rushed. Mr. Sato didn't speak like a judge. He spoke like someone who had watched many people destroy themselves the same way. After class, Mr. Sato approached Caleb. You're not the worst person I've seen, he said. Caleb laughed bitterly. That's not comforting. Mr. Sato nodded. Good. Comfort isn't what you need. Caleb looked away. Mr. Sato continued. Tell me, Caleb, what did you want? Caleb whispered, a way out. Mr. Sato said, no, not a way out, a way around. Caleb clenched his jaw. Mr. Sato's voice stayed gentle. You wanted the reward without the waiting. That is the oldest trap in history. Caleb's eyes stung. Mr. Sato leaned closer slightly. Slow money builds you, he said. Fast money breaks you. Caleb didn't respond. Mr. Sato added one final line. Your punishment isn't the collapse. Your punishment is becoming the kind of man who thought this was normal. That line stayed in Caleb's mind for weeks. Because it was true. Caleb didn't get a heroic comeback. No miracle job offer. No sudden forgiveness. He worked small jobs. He paid debts slowly. He lived quietly. He stopped chasing wins. He started chasing stability. At night, he wrote down his choices. Not big dreams. Just small discipline. Wake up on time. Work honestly. Spend carefully. Tell the truth. Accept slow progress. He began volunteering at a community center, helping teenagers with math and budgeting. One day, a teenager asked him, why do you do this for free? Caleb paused. Then he answered honestly, because I once sold my integrity, he said. I'm trying to buy it back. The teenager didn't understand, but Caleb did, because the road back is not a shortcut. It's a long walk. Months later, Caleb received a message on a new number. No name, just 4 words, you talk too much. Caleb froze. His hand shook. Another message, you owe me. Caleb felt the old fear rise like poison. Damon, or someone behind Damon. Caleb stared at the phone. He could run again, hide again, obey again. Or he could finally do the one thing he hadn't done when it mattered. Stand still and tell the truth. Caleb walked into a police station. He showed them the messages. The officer looked at him. Are you sure you want to reopen this? He asked. Caleb's voice was calm. Yes, he said. I'm done being owned. That was the first time Caleb felt real strength. Not loud strength. Quiet strength. The kind that doesn't perform. The kind that pays the price. They never fully caught Damon. Networks like his don't die easily. But Caleb did something more important than catching a criminal. He stopped being a partner to the crime. Years later, Caleb stood outside the same building where he used to work. He didn't go inside. He didn't need to. He watched people hurry into the lobby, chasing deadlines and dreams. He remembered himself. Young, hungry, tired. He thought of Damon's card. That door. That first harmless yes. And Caleb finally understood the truth that would have saved him. A shortcut doesn't shorten the journey. It just moves the cost to the future. And the future always arrives. Caleb walked away from the building, slower than before. Not because he was weak. Because he had learned what impatience never teaches. Slow progress is still progress. And integrity is the only wealth that never collapses.